check it out. Ban transgenderism. Remove transgender rights entirely. Institutionalize transgender people. Ban drag shows. Ban gay marriage. Remove homosexuality from public. Arrest predatory teachers. There is no need for complex arguments to do all the above. Just do it. Love how it becomes the Nike slogan at the end there, you know? Just do it. Here's a laundry list of hate-filled garbage. Now go out there and do it. So yeah, keeping this guy out of power is probably a pretty smart move. Does that mean that the person you put in power in lieu of him is your friend? Not necessarily. Maybe just a less imposing enemy. But I do want to stress that on most issues, on the vast preponderance of issues, Democrats and Republicans virtually goddamn identical. But on issues like this, social issues, yeah, they use these as wedge issues to convince the populace that they're more different than they actually are. But does that mean that they aren't playing with fire? No, they are. If marching your ass into the camps is what it takes for them to keep and maintain power, they'll do it. Don't call their bluff on that one. You'll end up sorely regretting that move, in my opinion. What else we got? Here's another, this is so sad too, because this artist, I think this is still technically considered their comic Sinfest. When they started this comic Sinfest, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that, this comic was pretty goddamn good. It was pretty goddamn good and pretty goddamn funny. But then at some point, like pre-2016, this comic started getting SJW as hell. And I was like, I don't want to read this SJW crap. And now it's gone full-on crazy turf. And it's now at the point where it's making up things to be mad at and then going, Argh! So you have the teacher lady. The alarm's going off, beep, 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 beep. She's like, school shooting drill, into the safe room. Trans kids first. Cis white kids stand guard outside. What? I think I'm trans. Me too. Okay, come in. Oh, yeah. Oh, this common everyday occurrence, man. Schools across America. You know it and I know it. This is how it all goes down. Like, I get that, you're making a comic strip and, part of that is probably exaggerations. But even as an exaggeration, how full of shit is this goddamn thing, huh? When libs say right-wing memes, they mean Facebook/Twitter conservative boomer memes. 4chan, arguably the core of internet culture, is not. 4chan is every bit as much of an amalgam of different points of view as anywhere on the goddamn internet, all right? And, like, you can go from board to board on that thing and see all kinds of different perspectives. Also, a lot of people are using 4chan as a place for their crazy-ass id to just run amok. So I don't even necessarily think 4chan is all that reflective of who a person is in their day-to-day. If they're like, now my demons come out, like, you know what I mean? But even with that in, being factored in, there's tons of freaking crazy left-wing milquetoast lib. It's just because it's a place where everybody can just go and post anonymously. So, yeah, there's a whole slew of crazy going on there. This idea that 4chan is just like, oh man, strictly like a right-wing place. Not true. I got 4chaners to argue if Shrek exists. Exactly. Exactly my point. How can you ignore gun violence in America? A shooter just massacred a dozen people. He was trans, and then they're just calm. Because that's how it was. The moment that America found out the shooter was trans, everyone just shut up. You know what? Never mind. That shooting didn't even happen. Shh. Not how I remember it. I seem to remember people still talking gun control points. Joe Biden is actually pushing really hard right now to ban assault weapons. So Like the idea that everyone just shut up the minute it was revealed the shooter was trans, not really accurate, but hey, once again, I'll give it some leeway because it is a comic, but like, come on. Even the editorial perspective on that, sans any sort of like allowance for exaggeration, is pretty goddamn stupid. Here's a great one. Someone has, we'll go to the top here first. So here is this angry, disgruntled piece of useless subhuman scum at a restaurant called Burger Death, which I'm fine with this place. I'll go to Burger Death any day. You give me a restaurant called Burger Death, I'll be in line. And she says, I deserve an $11 an hour minimum wage. This is from 2014, so by now it would be higher, but at this time, $11 is what they're asking. And then she's telling this guy the burger is $10.60, which that's an expensive burger even by modern day inflation standards. And he says, here's a 20 and 60 cents. Okay. So, you know, obviously you just give him a 10 back in change. And she's like, oh, I don't like know what to do. I better call a manager. Okay. I guess she's really bad at math, but you know who else is really bad? The artist, because you look in here and he's trying to hand her 3 bills. He says he has a $20 bill and 60 cents. So what the hell's going on there? So here it is. Here's the 50-cent bill, and here is the 10-cent bill. Yeah, here's 3 bills for that amount. There you go, buddy. Maybe it's a nitpick, but I like it. What's going on here? Nobody blamed the lightsaber when Anakin killed the younglings. What an argument, man. Sitting here trying to talk about reality. And this motherfucker's gonna bust out his... Now's the time to bust out my Star Wars reference. Nobody blamed the lightsaber. Well, you know, like, I guess that you got something like a point going on there, but, like, do we know if, like, the easy access to lightsabers to, like, mentally unstable aspiring Jedi is causing people to, you know, people who shouldn't necessarily be able to get their hands on one to do that? I don't know. I don't know if the politics of the Star Wars universe necessarily transpose easily onto the politics of our universe, but maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know the lore. I don't know the deep lore. And you get into that extended universe, maybe then. Here's all right, she's putting the metal on him, and he's biting the metal, and he's making out with her and grabbing her ass, flipping the bird, shooting the champagne. But then it turns out, oh, woman of the year. Oh, I see. Yeah, you know, so many trans women are just dudes with, you know, with bald heads and Mario mustaches, huge rippling muscles, you know. Yeah, I mean, she's hot. I don't know what to tell you, you know. Banana bucks. Thank you. Racism in America was almost dead because we were united in ridiculing racists and their beliefs. Then these two showed up and set America back 100 years. Yeah, damn those two. Damn them to hell. America was almost over racism until we had a black president, and then I was like, no. I'm pretty sure that the reason that Blazing Saddles was made is because racism was, like, rampant. You know, they didn't decide, like, let's make fun of racists even though there almost are none. They made fun of racists because it was still way too prevalent. And the idea that, like, you were somehow forced into being racist by the existence of the first black president is a pretty stupid notion. Like, yeah, man, the reason Obama triggers me so hard is because of not his race, but some other attribute, but it makes me hate all people of his race. So really, he set America back, you know? Did he? I'm pretty sure he didn't. I'm pretty sure you were already racist when he got elected, and that's why you hate him so much. Don't get me wrong, I hate Obama too, but I waited for there to actually be reasons to hate him. I just didn't decide, like, uh-oh, must be a secret Kenyan Muslim, y'all. Here's another meme. Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. Denver shooter identified as trans. Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. Nashville shooter identified as trans. So first of all, including the Colorado Springs shooter on this is like a giant load of bullshit, because that guy was not non-binary. That guy was anti-LGBT as that guy hated LGBT people. Everybody who knows him says he was a Nazi. His family knows he's a Nazi. He ran a Nazi message board. So, like, this guy was not non-binary. He said that to make waves. He said that to do a psyop, and that is well documented and obvious. I don't know anything about this Denver or Aberdeen shooter. I know some stuff about the Nashville shooter. I can tell you this. Even if you go on a per capita basis and look at mass shooters, trans people are underrepresented. I think trans people are, like, depending on who you ask, anywhere from like 0.5 to somewhere around like 1, maybe a little over 1% of the population. And I think at this point they account for something like 0.1, 0.2% of mass shooters. So this idea that there is like this like outbreak of trans mass shooters is completely manufactured. If you really want to find a group of people that are overrepresented in mass shooters, one group would be Asian Americans. Asian Americans are actually pretty significantly overrepresented among mass shooters. But if you want a group that's really, really, really overrepresented in mass shooters, 97 point something percent of mass shooters are men. So, I don't know. Do with that what you will. Probably you won't do anything with it, but that's a fact. Here's another one. Here's another meme about the shooting. You got this this good Christian family. I noticed they're all blonde-haired and blue-eyed. Very interesting choice. Who are saying, a prayer for the 6 innocent lives stolen by her. And then there's these horrible, mean, ridiculous hair color, fat trans women over here who are screaming, he, him, his pronouns are he, him, through a megaphone as the poor family is trying to grieve the loss of their dead child. You know, one of these other common everyday occurrences that's always going on here. Totally realistic. I'm going to make something up, and I'm going to get so mad at that thing I made up, I swear to God. What the media wants you to believe. You're a sole little red guy in a sea of blue. But then the reality is this. The whole country is a wave of red. Red as far as the eye can see. I don't know what it is. I don't know what has happened to conservative, quote-unquote, brains where they can no longer distinguish the difference between land and people. Let me explain this to you. If there are 3 people living on 100 acres of land and those 3 people are conservative, that land is red on this map, okay? Right? If there are 3,000 people living on one tiny little acre of land and like a skyscraper or something, and they're all, you know, liberal or leftist or whatever, that land is blue. So, doesn't really matter how much the land votes, because the land doesn't vote. I mean, in our system, it unfortunately kind of does. Here. Why am I even explaining it? I'll just represent it visually for you with this. Look, see? Here you go. Here's that big red mass. Oh, here it actually is reflected in population size. Wow. Very different picture, huh? Kind of a different story there. Transgender Sussex paramedic says patients refuse her help. And then this right-winger has added this very Chad-looking sick person. You will never be a woman. Beep. They think this is an own. They think they're owning the trans woman here. Guess what, guys? Hate to tell you. The idea of like, I would rather die a hate-filled bigot than get medical treatment from the likes of you. Okay, well, that's a little thing we call being a moron. That's a little thing we call being too stupid to live. Literally too stupid to live. Yeah, I guess I could take this life-saving medicine, but if it's gonna be administered by a nah, beep. Goodbye, friends and family. Goodbye, promising future that I maybe had in front of me. Beep. Yeah. Let's get died to own the libs. Not even a good own either. Just like, you'll never be a woman. Beep. Well, you'll never be alive again. Beep. You win, buddy. You won. And finally, just soak this in for a minute here. And they searched for a jury of his peers, but they could find none, for this man had no equal. Look at this fucking... Look at it. Oh, man. Oh, they love it. Oh, God. It bears no goddamn resemblance to what this guy actually looks like. It bears no goddamn resemblance to what this dude's personality or IQ is actually like. I mean, like, he is a thoroughly goddamn unimpressive person. He's not smart. He can't talk. He's not witty. He's not funny other than when he's just, like, engaging in schoolyard taunts against other Republicans. He's not good looking. He's not muscular. He's not physically fit in any way, shape, or form. And yet, oh my God, he is without peer. He is the perfect specimen of man. Even in this picture where they're trying to make him look good, it looks like a still image from the upcoming Mum Ra biopic. I don't know why I keep comparing people to Thundercats characters, but there it is. Mum Ra the younger years. Oh, God damn, my friends. God damn.